Hello, Dawn Robles. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I want to share with you how to make a Gumball Aquarium. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever been anywhere where you've seen those, but my kids fell in love with them, and I thought they were really cool. So when we got this Gumball Greetings stamp set and die cuts, I thought I have to create that. And then we got the Waves of the Ocean. We've got papers and a stamp set bundle with that. So I thought, wow, how cool is that? So I'm incorporating today the DSP from the Waves of the Ocean bundle. And this paper is absolutely gorgeous, especially if you are an ocean lover, water lover. So that's like the front of it, and then you flip it over and it's got all these great designs on the back as well. So double-sided, beautiful paper. And then we also got foil, and we got foil in, it came out in Night and Navy, ouch, Coastal Cabana, and the silver foil. Sorry, I dropped another block on the floor, so a little bit clumsy today. So we're going to use a little bit of that as well. And we are also using one of the die cuts out of the Sailing Home. Now you can use anything in this. I recommend using vellum because we're actually going to put it inside the gumball machine. So if you have a fish stamp and you want to put little fish in there, just make sure that you stamp it on vellum and color it in, because this does not deteriorate in the gel that I put it in. So it works fabulous. This card's been here for a couple of months already, so I'm loving it. But anyway, I am using the Sailing Home, and I'm just using this this die cut here. I don't know what you would call it, but you know, we all see it in the ocean. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So you'll need, let me bring in some pieces here. I did a lot of the work up front just because I didn't want to make you suffer through watching me cut all the little intricate pieces, because it definitely has a ton of little pieces that go with the gumball machine. So I am using a piece of Pacific Point, and this is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. You're going to need 2 sheets of 4 by 5 1/4 of basic white, and then 1 piece of the Waves of the Ocean DSP. I chose this print here. It's that on the back. And this is going to be 3 3/4 by 5. You're going to need about 3 of the die cuts of the algae or seaweed, whatever that's called. And we'll cut that down and we'll actually fit it into the gumball shaker dome. You're also going to need a piece of window sheet, which I forgot to get, and you'll need a piece that's big enough to cover our gumball machine shaker domes. I think I've went through 3 or 4 boxes of these already. So you'll need a shaker dome. We're going to use the frosted beads assortment that was included. I'm going to go ahead and use the Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels. Again, this was part of the Waves of the Ocean kit. And if you'd like to see more about that, you can always jump over to my website and check that out. I did stamp the little seagull from Waves of the Ocean there, so we're going to place that on top of the gumball machine. And I did, like I said, a lot of the pre-work. You'll need a piece of scrap for your sentiment, and then I had an extra piece of 3/4 here I will put on the inside at the bottom of my sheet, just to make it pretty on the inside as well. So I'm going to go ahead. Now I die cut everything, and I actually used our adhesive backing sheets on the back of this, because trying to get glue on all of this was really hard. So if you have the adhesive glue sheets, that is the perfect thing to use for this. And as you can see, well, I don't have that here, I have it over here. All the die cuts, there's so many intricate little pieces that we put together, and it's just so helpful if you, like I said, put it on the adhesive sheet. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and assemble the gumball machine. come over here. And I'm just going to peel the backing right off. And then I'm going to line it up right here in this little nook right here. I mean, you can barely see it, but there is just a little cutout right up here. Just going to place that down there. Like so. And then this will be, oops, sorry. This will be the bottom, and it'll go right down here. And just peel off that backing and then just line it. I put it right on the top, and I just kind of line it up down there. As you can see, I put the teeny tiny piece. I didn't want to lose that, so I went ahead and assembled that right when I cut it. I was afraid I would lose that little tiny piece. This long piece here is just going to go on the bottom of the lid. Push it down. Then we have where you would insert the coin. You can actually stamp that with the 5-cent piece and slide the coin in there, but for today's purposes, I'm not. I'm just gonna line that up as well, see? There's a lot of little pieces, but it does go very, very quickly. And then I'm going to use our mini dimensionals, and I'm going to stick it right on the back of my turn handle, just to give it a little volume. You can even add 2 if you want to. And then you can line that up any way you want, like it's turning or whatever. I'm just going to do it straight. Take these beautiful rhinestones. I don't know about you, but I love bling. So I'm going to go ahead and use one of the navy, Nina Navy ones. And I'm just going to grab my pick tool. If you guys don't have this, it is so awesome. Just going to slide that there. You know what? I want a bigger one. So let's do a medium-sized one. Put that right over the hole. And now we've got our gumball machine assembled. Move this all to the side. Put this up here. And bring my card base in. Go ahead and give that a nice burnish. Then I have, for the inside, I'm just going to take a piece of the 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to glue my extra. I had a little extra piece of this pretty paper that I didn't want to waste, so I'm just going to glue it right down there, just to add a little pizzazz. Oh, you could even do this side as beautiful too. And then you can stamp. I'm not going to stamp a sentiment today because I figure you can stamp whatever sentiment you want to use. I really don't know what I'm going to use this card for. I just really wanted to make the gumball machine. We had seen one over the summer. I think we were probably in California when we seen it, and the girls, my daughters, just thought it was the coolest thing. So, and then I'm just going to put that on the inside. Okay, then I'm going to bring my other 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to make this my first layer on my card base. And you wouldn't have to do this. I just wanted a little more dimension, so and I just thought it looked good this way, so that's why I did it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring in my DSP and lay it down the way I want it. So I don't know if I want it that way or if I could turn it around. I think I'm going to put it this way here. I'm not going to glue it down though. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dome cutout and I'm going to kind of situate it where I want it on this DSP. Remember that the bottom is actually larger, the top is slightly smaller. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see, especially on the domes. You can see there's just a slight difference in size, so make sure that you put the smaller size on the top. The other thing I'm going to tell you is we brought in our gumball machine. We kind of want to position that where we want it on the paper. So I want mine kind of towards the bottom. And then when you're doing this, don't just lay it on top of that because your dome is actually going to slide under a little bit. So I kind of pick this up and slide this down to about where these ridges are. Because that's basically where it's going to sit. And then when I go to die cut it, I will cut it right there. To keep that in place, I like to use a little post-it tape or just a little post-it works as well. I don't usually use this much, but hey, got a little carried away. So I will die cut that, and then the other thing that I need to do is grab a window sheet, which I forgot to get out when we were doing this. So I want to, when I do my window sheet, I'm going to want them big enough so I can glue this straight down to there. So we can cut it about right there. I'm just going to take my scissors and do that. That is like 2 3/4 by 2 1/2, right? Did I read that right? Yeah, 2 5/8 actually, but anything that covers that is totally fine. So I'm going to step away for a second. I'm going to die cut this real quick. Okay, now I'm back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to again lay that down. Remove my post-it tape. Kind of situate that exactly where I want so I kind of have some evenness, and then I'm just going to put my post-it tape back there. Take my die away. I'll tape this down a little bit too. So now I will actually pop this out, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to apply glue and I'm going to put it right back in here so I glue this right into place. And I like to use the liquid glue on this because that way I can I have time to slide it where I want to, as is if I use this Stampin' seal, then wherever I put it is where it's going to stay. So let's kind of put that back in there just like a puzzle piece. And there we go. So I'll remove this for the time being. I'm just going to set that right up here. And then I'm going to bring in my window sheet again and my dome. And I'm going to make some marks on my window sheet. Now you don't have to worry because this isn't going to be seen. So I know that the top of my dome is about right here. That means I don't want my seaweed going any higher than that. I don't know if that's called seaweed or not, but that's what I'm calling it. And then again right here, because I'm actually going to take this vellum and I'm going to glue it right to the window sheet. So it does take a little bit of time to dry, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to make a mark on the top and the bottom as well. And set the dome aside and then bring in seaweed, algae, whatever it is. And I'm just going to kind of cut everything down here. I won't use this bottom piece. Cut my pieces, and then we may have to cut it down even further. And I did about 3 of these. You can put as many or as little as you want. And like I said, you can use fish or whatever. The vellum holds up so nice in here. So I'm going to start with my center here. So I know the top of my dome is these 2 little marks that I made. So I don't really want to go super high. So I'm just going to put a dab of liquid glue. The Tombow works good. I just happen to have this one by me right now, so that's what I'm using. And if you get too much, now your glue is not going to show by the time we put our gel and stuff in there. So don't worry about that, because I know, you always see the glue marks with the vellum, but it does not show, so. And just kind of make yourself a little, lay it out the way you want. And we will be cutting some of this away as well. And as you can see, it moves very easy. It takes a little bit to adhere to the window sheet to dry itself. Okay, so then I'm just going to take this and I'm going to cut. Cut all that away. And you can actually, I did on a couple of mine, I actually did pop these up. Believe it or not, I did on little dimensionals, and they've held pretty good. But for today's video, we're just going to add a little glue. I guess I probably should have popped it up. It would have gave it a little more dimension. And the other thing that I found so interesting is that our shaker domes actually will hold water as long as you use this technique. As long as you put a window sheet right behind it, glue it together like that, it holds water. I'm not sure I would stick that one in the mail, but if you're just going to hand a card to somebody in person, I think it'd be super cool. Get all the oohs and the ahs. So again, this takes definitely a while to adhere to the window sheet. And again, we're just going to cut off what we don't want. And you don't have to worry about the excess glue down there because it's going to be covered up. Okay, so I know it's really hard. I should have put something behind that, but it's just kind of like that right now. And you can color the vellum, you can do whatever you want. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take my shaker dome here, turn it over, and I'm going to add some frosted beads. You know, when you have an aquarium, you have all those pretty little beads. I haven't tried using sequins yet, but these beads to me were perfect, so I just added some. And this is going to be the little tricky part. Sometimes I add too much, sometimes I don't add enough, but hey, I'm going to add a little more. I'd rather have more than less, right? Okay. Now here's the fun part. You ever have sunburns and you have this stuff at home? This is just an after sun care that I use on the kids, and I use a lot in my craft projects. I'm just going to add this to my shaker dome. Now don't overfill it because you don't want it oozing out when we put it on. And when you add your aftercare, and it smells good. You kind of want to make sure all your beads are where down towards the bottom. Otherwise, you may, it will float up a little bit. Let me see. If you have too many and you don't have them stuck down, they actually float up, and you don't want that happening. So it's kind of learn as you go. So I will probably like hold it like this so it doesn't move, and then I'm just going to squeeze this in here carefully so it don't move the beads all around. And yes, you're going to get a little bit messy because you're going to use your fingers to kind of even it out. And if you get too much, you can just scoop it out and grab your inky towel or whatever you have in your office. And I just don't want so much that when I put my window sheet on the back of it that it oozes into the glue and then it won't hold. Okay. Just take our backing off here. Maybe not. Kind of tap that down, and then I'm just going to take my window sheet, flip it over, and kind of line up my lines. That's why I made a mark at the top and the bottom so I knew where my dome was going to be. And whammo. Just make sure you secure it really, really well. And now you've got your little fish tank deal. And then I'm going to, I'll probably put a little bit of glue here, 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 and here. Let me just do that real quick. Okay, and then I'm just going to take this top part off. And then layer that right over the top where I want it. So cool. The hardest part is putting the glue on the back here. So if you want to just use liquid glue, go for it. Trying to put the Stampin' Still on once you've got the dome, can be a little bit tricky. I'm bring my card back in, and then you can still see through this, so I'm just going to kind of eyeball where it's supposed to go. So the DSP, you can see, is still right behind there. And then just put it down. And then you can see that you still have the DSP behind it to lock it in. And then you've created your little fish bowl. And then I'm just going to add my bottom pieces to it. You can pop it up if you want to. On this one, I don't want to. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue here. Oh, and when you're gluing, make sure you don't glue your tab because it looks cool if you open it up a little bit. So don't put glue on that. And then you can just position that. And then I did use the adhesive backing on the cap. Oh, people. How come it's always when you're trying to show people stuff, everything is hard? So, Okay, so I'm just going to do that, and I'm just going to add that to the top of the dome. And I have a cute little card. I love it, love it, love it. But I really thought it was missing something, so I went ahead and stamped a greeting. And I already did that ahead, and just tied a ribbon on it. I'm going to pop that up with dimensionals. So I just need like 2. Pop that up with dimensionals and just kind of put it there. Give it a little more appeal. And then I thought, man, it's still kind of, it's like a cool concept, but it's still kind of boring. So that's when I brought in the bird from Waves of the Ocean, and I just kind of trimmed him off a little bit here. Like so. And then I'm just going to pop him right up there like he's trying to look in. Like there's pretend fish in there or something, since I have no fish stamps. Okay. Then I'm just going to kind of position him up there. And my card is done. So tell me what you think. Aquarium gumball machine. How fun. I love this stamp set. I'm not sure it's transferring over to our new catalog that'll be coming out, but I will check it out and let you guys know in my next video. Next video, I am going to show you how to do an M&M machine. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching. If I can be of any assistance, please email me, direct message me, give me a call. I'd love to help you. Guys, go out there and have some happy crafting.